Part 1, The Serpent's Whisper. In the beginning, the Garden of Eden was a paradise of lush greenery, vibrant flowers, and crystal-clear streams. It was a realm untouched by sin, a sanctuary for the first humans, Adam and Eve. They roamed freely, surrounded by the wonders of creation, yet they were bound by a singular command from their Creator: they were not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The serpent, a creature of cunning intelligence, watched as Adam and Eve tended to the garden. It slithered among the roots of the trees, its scales glistening in the sunlight. The serpent was not just a mere animal, it was an embodiment of temptation and cunning, a being that could see the desires hidden deep within the hearts of the two humans. One fateful morning, as Eve wandered near the forbidden tree, the serpent coiled itself around a branch, its voice smooth as silk. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" it asked, feigning innocence. Eve looked at the serpent, a mixture of curiosity and caution flickering in her eyes. "We may eat the fruit of any tree except for the one in the center of the garden. If we eat its fruit, we will surely die." The serpent laughed softly, a sound that echoed through the still air. "You will not certainly die. God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve's heart raced. The promise of wisdom, of understanding, tugged at her soul. The fruit hung just within reach, radiant and alluring. Is it truly so terrible to know what God knows? She pondered aloud. "Knowledge is power, dear Eve," the serpent urged, its voice dripping with persuasion. "To know is to be free. To know is to be divine." Part 2, The First Bite. The sun cast long shadows as Eve contemplated the serpent's words. She approached the tree, its fruit glimmering like a jewel against the verdant backdrop. The aroma was intoxicating, a blend of sweetness and earthiness that beckoned her closer. With a hesitant hand, she plucked the fruit from its branch, holding it aloft as if it were the key to an unimagined realm. "What if I take a bite?" she wondered, her mind racing with the possibilities. "What if I gain the knowledge that God possesses?" The serpent watched, its eyes glinting with satisfaction. "It is a gift, dear Eve. One meant for you. Why live in ignorance when you can seize your destiny?" In that moment, Eve took a bite, the juice running down her chin. The taste was unlike anything she had experienced, sweet and rich, filling her with an exhilaration that ignited her senses. Suddenly, the world around her transformed. Colors became more vivid, sounds sharper, and a deep understanding began to wash over her. But with that enlightenment came a pang of fear. She felt exposed, vulnerable. The weight of knowledge pressed down on her. She looked around and saw Adam approaching, his brow furrowed in confusion. "Eve, what have you done?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. "It's beautiful, Adam. You must try it. The fruit has given me wisdom," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "Eve, we were commanded not to eat from this tree. What if? Do you not see?" she interrupted, her voice rising with fervor. "We are missing so much. The fruit opens our eyes. We can understand everything." Part 3, The Great Deception. Adam hesitated, his loyalty to God battling with the desire for understanding. But the allure of knowledge was potent. Eve, glowing with newfound insight, seemed radiant, a vision of what their lives could become. The serpent's influence seeped deeper into Eve's mind, wrapping around her thoughts like ivy. "You are the one who sees now, Eve. It is your choice to share this gift with Adam." With a persuasive smile, Eve held out the fruit to Adam, her heart racing as she watched him consider it. "Join me, Adam. We can be like gods together." The serpent had crafted its web of deception perfectly. Eve, unknowingly the true serpent, was now the agent of temptation. She embodied the very essence of what she had consumed, knowledge that corrupted innocence. "Very well," Adam said, taking the fruit from her hand. He bit into it, and the same rush of exhilaration consumed him. Together, they stood in the garden, the world spinning around them in vibrant hues, the heaviness of understanding weighing down their hearts. Part 4, The Consequence. But as the initial thrill faded, a chilling realization took hold. The garden that had once felt safe and serene now felt suffocating. They became aware of their nakedness, their vulnerability, and a wave of shame washed over them. They had crossed a threshold they could never return from. "We must hide," Adam whispered, his eyes darting around the garden as they sought refuge among the trees. They covered themselves with leaves, trying to shield their newfound awareness from the all-seeing eye of God. But God was not blind to their transgression. He strode through the garden, his voice resonating like thunder. "Adam, Eve, where are you?" They cowered in the shadows, fear gripping their hearts. "We heard you and were afraid because we were naked, so we hid," Adam called out, his voice trembling. "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from?" God's voice thundered with authority. Eve felt a surge of guilt wash over her, but she also felt a rising tide of defiance. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate," she replied, pointing her finger toward the creature that had once promised her enlightenment. God turned to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life." Turning back to Adam and Eve, God continued, "You have chosen knowledge over obedience, and now you will bear the consequences." Part 5, The Weight of Knowledge. The consequences were immediate and harsh. The paradise they had known transformed into a world of struggle and strife. Adam would toil in the fields, and Eve would bear the pain of childbirth. Knowledge had come at a terrible price. As they walked out of Eden, hand in hand, Eve felt the weight of her choices. She had been the vessel of temptation, the catalyst for their downfall. Yet, in her heart, a flicker of understanding remained. She had gained knowledge, and with it, the awareness of her own agency. She would not let the serpent's words be the end of her story. In the years that followed, Eve would pass down tales of the garden to her children, sharing the wisdom she had gained. She told them of the serpent and the peril of temptation, warning them of the fine line between knowledge and disobedience. Her journey became one of redemption. She was not merely a deceiver but a seeker of truth, a mother striving to impart lessons of wisdom, cautioning against the seductive allure of shortcuts and the price of knowledge. And so, through her story, Eve transformed from the deceived to the teacher, a guardian of understanding in a world that had learned too late the cost of its own curiosity. Part 6, The Legacy of Knowledge. Years turned into generations, and the story of Eden spread throughout the world. Eve's legacy became one of caution and awareness, a reminder that wisdom must be approached with humility. Her descendants, inspired by her tale, learned to navigate the complexities of life with care, weighing their desires against the wisdom of their forebears. They understood that knowledge, while powerful, must be balanced with responsibility. In time, the serpent's whispers faded into myth, a tale woven into the fabric of humanity's collective consciousness. Yet Eve's story endured, a testament to the strength found in vulnerability and the lessons learned from both the serpent's deceit and her own choices. Eve became a symbol, not just of temptation, but of resilience, a figure who embraced her flaws and transformed them into wisdom. Through her journey from deception to enlightenment, she taught generations that true understanding is found not just in knowledge, but in the choices one makes with it. And as the sun set on the world, casting golden hues over the land, Eve knew that her story would continue, echoing through the hearts and minds of those who dared to seek knowledge while remaining steadfast in their integrity. Thus, the legacy of Eve became one of both caution and empowerment, a reminder that even in the depths of deception, one could emerge transformed, with the power to shape the future. Conclusion. The Garden of Eden may have been lost, but the lessons of its inhabitants lived on, a rich tapestry of choice, consequence, and the ever-persistent quest for knowledge. Eve's journey from deception to enlightenment became a guiding light, reminding all of humanity that true wisdom lies not merely in knowing, but in understanding the weight of what one knows. We have gotten to the end of the video. If you know you gained something, kindly like and subscribe to this channel to get more videos like this. God bless you.